And welcome back, folks, here at Big Go Built Media for another Power Book for Force review recap show. Nigeria alongside of Lucas. And man, what a crazy episode we had tonight here. Episode 5, Take Me Home. Now, folks, this was a crazy episode. The third war is here. We had a ton of intense moment and some major deaths. And we got all that to talk about. But before we get into that, I have to tell you all, I know you all stayed through our whole review, but today you totally need to stay through the entire thing because we have a special guest coming to the show tonight. As we said, we had some major deaths, and unfortunately, but fortunately, we have a Power After the Grave interview for you all tonight. So definitely stay tuned for that at the end of this recap review show. But Lucas, how's it going? How you feeling, man?
Hey, I am feeling much better than the people who got murdered and murked very quickly in this episode. Because good God almighty, one, is everybody just proficient at headshots? I shoot guns for a living at times, and I understand how hard it is to shoot a headshot. But boy, these folks in Power don't play one bit so when it comes to that. That's one of the best things. I love seeing the effect that they put on it to add the realism of these headshots. But
listen, everybody's not a good shot because apparently there were some attempted murders that didn't go as planned. But yes, things to be talked about.
Some people just not good at shooting as they're driving 90 miles per hour past cars. Like you're not going to be that accurate there. But let's start off the episode, and to me, which has come one of the best ways that from this series that we're starting off episodes, and that is retrospective Tommy. Just him thinking about not only just his actions, because we didn't get to see this again in all the seasons beforehand with Power. We never got to see Tommy fully think out his thoughts or just look back on certain of his actions and how it affects him. How did you feel like this episode, which is a pivotal episode for being episode 5 in any series? We talk about it constantly. In any series we do, any Power series, episode 5 is an extremely pivotal episode in it, that they went back to the retrospective version of Tommy at the beginning, of just him looking back at everything that he's been through so far in Chicago.
I will continue to love starts like this, although I do love him in Gloria, and I think he probably prefers that as a better start. I love the idea that each and every episode, especially with an episode this intense, especially with this episode really wreaking the identity of Power with the complete onslaught of bullets left and right, that we take a look at one of our favorite beloved characters in Tommy, who was categorized as a monster, and we humanize him. Every episode, before all of the nonsense, we humanize him because, again, we know he could be trigger happy, he could be a hothead at times, but this entire series we've been seeing so many different sides of him, and I think this was a side that, again, we're going back, realizing how much he's done in such a short time, but we also tend to see that he has funny ways of showing it, but he also has major feelings that isn't just on his sleeve, but they're there, and those things were tested this episode, and we're truly seeing the side of Tommy that may have always been there, but it has never been this clear to the audience unless you really, really, really broke down the psychology of that character. A lot of people like him because he is a gunslinger, and he's about his business, and he's street smart, and he gets the lady. He has the old school, and that's fun. There's a lot of characters that you can say fits that profile, and we like. But the Tommy with the emotions, the Tommy that is working through trauma, the family man Tommy, the one who's the leader, the one that's getting his, this Tommy is what we're reminded of each and every episode. And this was the best poetic start shall we have, especially with a war on the horizon.
How important do you believe it is that they have decided just to show this version of Tommy for this show? Because again, I don't know if people would have been as interested in this show, or this show being as good as it is, if we just got hothead Tommy.
Stop it. Nope. You know why? Because there are folks like us that understand and appreciate the writing. And then there's folks out there that only want to see deaths. They only want to see people get They only want to see Christmas being canceled every episode. And the fact that this series and this universe is able to appease both audiences is truly special in its own. But yes, while we try to take a more intellectual side of things of breaking this down, and folks, please stop coming for us for not always being right. We make mistakes, we're human as well. But at least we try to sit back and understand the show. You have folks that literally only care about the deaths. And I think we should bring up a question that we kind of talked about before we started recording, which I won't, take your shine, but let's sit back and put it on the table right now. Folks, is this your favorite Power episode ever? And why is that such a question that is like, to some they'd be like, well, why would you ask that? Why? Because you got major deaths left and right, and you got a war. That really is the identity for why some people watch the show. They want to see people die. But for me, I can say like I really love this episode because the balance in it and almost the serenity of the character Tommy, when you kind of look at it, like he comes from war. He went into war, and then he came out of war and was still human. He went and did the unthinkable and went back and protected the person that he truly, at a point, was just expendable. Forget it. He wanted her to leave, but we saw it the entire time over and over and over. A person who doesn't give many second chances gave her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different chances of trying to protect her and still came to her. He went to the Serbs himself, one-man army to protect her, which when you got CBI and the Flynn saying, oh, now we out, and he went by himself to the main guy, that's a statement right there. That's a statement right there of trust, loyalty, and again, Tommy just being the person that, humanized. The Tommy that's humanized.
See, but to me, it's not just Tommy. In this episode, you get every character fully exposed.
Oh, yeah.
That's what, when I think about it being possibly the best episode of Power you're going to see, we've seen other key characters get fully exposed in an episode, but not the entire key cast here.
Yeah,
you got everyone exposed of who they actually are in this episode. So I thought maybe for someone that looks beyond the killing, that maybe this could be like that great episode of Power that you kind of have been waiting for this season. Because while you've had amazing episodes, you wait for that like episode that feels like that's the pinnacle of the season. Like this is something like just gonna have you talking for a while. But yeah, speaking of characters being exposed, as we're going, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, listen. I'm still to the end of this day going to keep saying that there are going to be folks that are going to say, I love this because this person died and this person died. They had to go. They got killed, et cetera, and just forget about all of the heart in this episode. Which we can't fight that war. But
which is the most important part of the episode.
Yeah,
how dare you? Again, transition to the next key part for me of this episode, which is a heart moment in this episode, as Dirty Cop, Cephas. I'm trying to ever get his name right. I can never get his name right. I think it's Cephas. Seamus again pushes up on Diamond. But here we finally get the reason why he's so gung-ho about Diamond. As he brings up the murders that was caused by Diamond moving bad dope. And he brings up a name just to bring it home to Diamond again to show his emotional connection to Diamond and why he feels the need to harass him. And in turn, Diamond pulls his card on him working for the Flynns. What do you think about this entire setup? How do you believe that this moment is going to pay the dividends in this season, or this is something that's going to happen down the line?
Yeah, down the line. I'm still very much in a lot of like, the Nick Young question marks above my head right now, like, because he tried to play a card and realizing that Diamond had the bigger card the entire time. So it was like, when you played the Uno back in the day, you're like, oh, I got this sucker. You put that in the draw too. And Diamond's like, yeah, but we playing pile-on rules, and I got this draw too as well. So here you go. So yeah, I definitely, and that's why I think this scene was so very small. that it is a setup for something down the line. So we'll see. But like, we're seeing more and more about this cop just really being a I don't know, a non-factor to whatever his objective is, because he really has no stake anywhere. He's literally pigeonholed himself.
I think by him revealing that name to Diamond, that we see like how he's invested in this.
Yeah.
At first, because at first your question, is he just a regular cop that just loves harassing black people? or what is it about Diamond that he feels this way? But it also shows the harsh reality of someone who would have been in Diamond's position at that time. Why would I know a single name? You literally just told him he was responsible for multiple people dying, but that one name that means so much to you, and you asked him, do you know? And he just looked at you like, But again, it shows just how personal this is to Dirty Cop with Diamond, and how Diamond still is like, dude, I don't know you. Like,
who the fuck is this guy?
Hey, I know this is a horrible comparison for some people, but the first thing that popped in my head when I saw that moment was Endgame, where the person was yelling at Thanos, and he was like, I don't even know who you are. Like, how can you be this mad at me for no reason? I did nothing to you.
Yeah.
But that moment transitions to,
well, we got to quickly talk about when, you know, the Claudia in her very, very much Flynnish tactic of cutting Tommy off in the beginning, and you know,
he's about to transition to.
Oh, okay. This, I mean, happened before this scene, but go for it, brother. You driving the car. I'm in the passenger seat. You got it.
But here we get Claudia speeding down, doing what she does, and cutting off Tommy again, but this time with a strict purpose, which is revealing to him the drug and finally getting him to try the drug to attempt to make a deal. Now, this meeting here, the most fascinating part for me of this scene. Fantasizing was horrible, but fascinating part for this scene to me was Tommy understanding, you need me, I don't need you here.
Yes.
When they first meet and they get to talking about it, he's like, oh, so you got this, but you have no way to move it. Just to play that card for Claudia in Chicago, again, it goes back to, she has the name Flynn, but no one respects her as a Flynn because she's a woman. What did you think about just that whole scene, that whole setup, and Tommy pulling a major card of hers that it almost felt like she didn't expect him to pull?
Right. So we got a name of the drug now, Dahlia. And Tommy got his soul snatched. I mean, he had the best high ever. I thought the kissing tactic was something special, but I mean, that wasn't original because that's basically what I'm sure Mai and Claudia was doing in their spare time. I think Tommy pulled the card, which was correct. But I think people should understand that Claudia also was fully aware that that card was going to be pulled. This is, again, we go back to Uno. Claudia knew Tommy had that draw too, and she had hers waiting. Again, power on rules. I love Uno. It's my favorite game. Because the reason why that is because she always had intentions on cutting Mai out. So it had nothing ever to do with her, you know, being stuck in a position knowing that she needed him because he was going to be the distro and she couldn't be essentially the face of the drug. It was always the establishment and the plan that she wanted to have. She just had to get him to buy in, and she did it in a way that one, swept him off his feet, but ultimately both getting them the answer that they needed: new drug, new money, and her saying a credible face on the front end, and I'm going to make sure it happens. It see, the difference about what I think what some people might have felt in the beginning is that she was just going to use Tommy, but I don't think that was ever the case. I thought she always understood that it was going to be a partnership with Tommy, because Mai was never a part of the deals ever. She was never there, and she was literally she. If anything, Mai being a part of the deal almost cuts Claudia out. Claudia is like a name attached to the drug, but she couldn't be a face. And then Tommy becomes the distro, becomes the face, has the credible connect, but Mai is actually the one that actually is the connect. So it's like they cut the connect out, became business partners, and is running the business. I mean, it's the UFC. It's Dana White on the front end, but do anybody actually know the investors that are behind it? Nah, nobody knows those guys, but they're credible people because they can go buy whatever they want to do. But Dana White appears to be the guy. Everybody respects that guy. You know what I mean?
See, but you took it to a different place. Mine wasn't even a person I was thinking of. See, to me, the way Claudia approaches Tommy, like, you know the name. You know I'm a Flynn.
But I think I don't think he disrespected her, period, though. But beyond being a Flynn, I knew he knew it was Flynn, but I think he always disrespected her, you know? Feminist Tommy.
Oh, no. Not the respect issue, but the point that he fully understood. You have no way to move this drug. It ain't about Mai being the connect as much as it is, no matter how strong your name is, you don't even have another connect in the city outside of your family to go to move the drug. I think that's what caught her off guard, because that's something she shouldn't have expected. She shouldn't have expected Tommy to come to her. Tommy would have known she couldn't move it through her father, but he shouldn't have known that she didn't have any other way to move it, just like what we had with Vic. Vic clearly is not with his dad, but has ways to move product if need be.
Right. But see, the liability and it's not apparent right at this moment, but looking at the episode in full scope, she already said nobody could be a part of this. Soon as Mai started saying we get this and that, nobody could be a part of it, because the moment somebody's a part of it, then there's the liability of, oh, you may tell my dad. Now, she did get the one guy last episode that she says like a brother, so that's the only person she can trust. But anybody else becomes a liability. Tommy is the best possible solution for her, because she knows Tommy isn't on Walter's books. We know that Walter and Tommy aren't really on the same page, but Tommy is fully aware of what Claudia is capable of. But Claudia also has an awareness of what Tommy's capable of. Remember, first episode, she's hanging out from the Raptors like Sting, and basically like, oh, my dad respects this guy. Seems problematic. Should meet him. Met him twice. Now they understand, like, oh, you are about your stuff, and he's like, you are about your stuff too, but you're on the leash. So regardless of you not having anybody else, you really can't trust nobody else, because everybody else is under your dad's thumb. And you know, I'm the only person that's out here, a freelancer, essentially, that can make this happen. So I think we don't get a lot of the conversation at that moment, but people like me and you, we do our job, and we make sure that you can put the pieces together to understand why it makes sense. I
mean, the speech that happens between them two reveals so much. And I know some people may have been lost what Tommy was saying, but it was very simple what he was saying. You need me. And without me, you're nothing. And I think that's what may have, to me, at least that's what I read into it. I know I overread into things, but I read that maybe that was throwing her off a little bit, that Tommy approached it that way. But speaking of Tommy and people approaching Tommy the wrong way, next we have my guy, Jannard, with E, the oddest gangster on this show humanly possible. As again, we see Jannard getting high and really plotting and being jealous of the situation between Diamond and Tommy. Now, this is clearly, again, later on in the episode, this really pays dividends with this issue with him. But here, at this point in this episode, where did you think Jannard would take this obsession with feeling like he has to get rid of Tommy to build a better relationship with his brother?
Jesus, man. Another episode, another moment of Jannard being same old, with his long, passionate rants to E, and E's like, let's get out of here. And he's like, no, fuck this Tommy guy. And he got to do what he got to do. I mean, it's really nothing to say. My man just threw a hissy fit and hit his line, and next scene came about. He threw a hissy fit, like, I got working with that white boy, and did his thing, and he's out of here.
Now, so as much as it is about him not wanting to work with Tommy, it almost feels like he believes that Diamond is replacing him with Tommy. That's what I got out of it.
Could be. I mean, it could be anything you want it to be, because right now his thoughts aren't consistent.
His thoughts are high.
Yes.
But so that's why the first thing I had to bring up is, here we go again.
Yes.
See, are using again.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
now it kind of explains that first conversation him and Diamond had when they were talking about, man, why did you employ these little niggas? All they do is point and shoot.
Yeah.
Because he's high most of the time.
Yeah.
That's all he needs.
Funny thing, it wasn't at the war tonight. And I was like, man, this is when they could have got their money's worth. But
I thought they were when he said, let's bring the gang together. And then it was 7 people. Like, wait a minute.
It definitely wasn't it.
Y'all come with less people than Tariq. What is going on here, man? So, following scene. Next scene we get is the big one. The big reveal. The Serbs come. And they know Tommy is the one who took out Tatiana. Now, here's the thing. I'm horrible with names. But I'm going to say his name is Mr. Markovich.
Markovich?
Markovich?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As we see him first come on the scene and wonder how the hell did James St. Patrick, which again, the point that he fully knew who that was, partner get away with killing Tatiana and no one stopped him. What did you think about the introduction of the next big Serb?
That's right. You're a boss. You come in, you make boss moves. See, look, he said Tatiana was weak. He said, oh, really? And shot him dead in the head.
First headshot. I love that headshot.
Yeah. So good first impression. I mean, it set the tone for the episode. It's like, okay, things are definitely ramping up right now. So there's nothing to really make it at, but I think, as a boss, you should make a boss interest. And the secondary thing, I guess we say, is that we just continue to establish just how prominent Tommy and Ghost were in New York. Mm-hmm. The name is on everybody's tongue, and Ghost is dead, and he's still out here causing effects out here. Oh no, Ghost isn't dead, folks. He's actually in Detroit. So just stay tuned for the next Power Book. Ghost will be returning, doing some things and whatnot.
And they're gonna take you for word on that one, and they're gonna be looking like, wait a minute, maybe Ghost is gonna end up on Influence. No, hey, man. Unless it's a flashback.
Yeah, hey man.
But the next two moments again, because we go in order, except for the first one that AJ tried to get me on. The next two big things happen. Liliana first lays down a law with Tommy on what their relationship is going to be. And I'm gonna get you to answer both of these back to back, because both of these, while they are moments, they are not huge moments to me. The next, Claudia threatens Mai about their partnership. In those two scenes, what we truly get here are the women of power highlighted. What did you think about the way they played both of those scenes back to back? From Liliana showing like, no, this is a partnership. I'm not leaving. And I'm not leaving because you're here. Yeah. And then we get Claudia basically threatening Mai, like, no, this is not how we're going to end up doing business here.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with Mai and Claudia. So Mai is impatient. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's because she's wanting to see the money come in much faster. But Claudia being Claudia says, hey, we got to be smart. We can't let the other dealers find out. And the question I do have is kind of a rebuttal to you real quick, because, Mai do threatens to take her operation somewhere if Claudia doesn't get it together. In this scenario, before I talk about Liliana, do you think Claudia was just being smart? Or do you actually feel like she might have felt limited in her solutions here? Like, Mai is like, go, go, go. And Claudia's like, we got this in time. But like, what's that strategy or what's that limitation? And what do you think?
To me, it was limitation. That's why I brought up the first time between Claudia and Tommy. That conversation with them played dividends to show, like, when she said, maybe I approached the wrong Flynn.
Yeah, of course.
The reason why she feels that way is because Claudia is showing that she has no power. So while she walks around like she can control everything, over and over again it's revealed that she can't.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think
about, no, not strategically, because we're not talking about the moves that she can make and her intelligence. That's there. What we're seeing is there's no backing to any decision she wants to make. Every decision strictly runs through her father. So when you're trying to branch out on your own, if you're part of an empire and you're trying to branch out on your own and you literally have no one to back you, this is the situation that Claudia is in. And again, it's the difference between her and Vic's situation. Vic has people he could go to that will back him. She has no one.
Fair enough.
And this was just even a stronger move to show she didn't have anyone. But even in that situation, she still understood the way to approach the situation.
Yeah, I mean, so my answer is that I think that she was just being strategical because she wasn't under any distress, and I think that they would have played the camera angle to a point where, like, if Claudia felt like she was under pressure, she would have appeared to look stressed or whatever it may be, but they didn't. She looked like she was calm and cool and collective. So, but I mean, we still find out more about that later on. But I see what you're saying about her not having power. I think that. And also with her kind of going independent, you know, she's not going to have the backing of the record label no more. So she may be in the booth getting those tracks out, but that CD ain't coming out for another 2 years now. You know what I mean? So I think she just, you know, understands that she kind of has to move different without the empire of the Flynn Foundation being there to move the things she wants. But also, just like Kanye, I got all the analogies tonight. Dane wasn't trying to give him no booth time. He didn't have a record release date. So he said, fine, I'm going to go out here, get the booth time myself, and eventually I'm going to force you to make a move.
The point he was the person of reference you wouldn't be using.
Hey, genius on Netflix right now.
Hey, Nick, Kanye had hits before he got a record deal. Claudia in these streets trying to play all falls down for everybody to get a hit.
Shut up, bro. But let's talk about Liliana. I mean, Liliana, you know, her job right now is to get the cut right. And she, like you said, she says we're partners. And true. But Tommy, y'all, has been very adamant that Liliana, I don't like you like that. But in this episode, we see a whole different posture. He's very jokey with her. He's very, I don't know a good analogy. I like to think when I get off work and I'm just tired and I'm relaxed, I just unzip my pants and I just kick back, you know, that sigh of relief, comfortability. I'm starting to feel like Tommy has that really understanding with her where he doesn't have to be hard. He doesn't have to be a smart ass. He doesn't have to be all these other things. It's almost like he's almost taking her under the wing like that's his little sister, where he knows she may be problematic, but he knows she is good at something that he needs. And I think that, you know, as we see him kind of confining her at times, you know, he's like, I need you to leave. But she says, nah, we chose this life. He's like, you're right. We are in this together. We did choose this life. We and with that, we have to be all in. And then the trust has to build. And, you know, she even said that I'm good right now because of you, which I thought right there, that was the moment Tommy said, bro, I got nothing back for you. You're right. You got me right there on that one. So this is where we see Tommy now saying he got to do whatever he can to protect her. Now, I was going to wait till later because I don't know where you may go with this, but I'm going to say right now, he said, Liliana, anything you do, you need to let me know. Don't do anything without letting me know. And my girl was left with nothing to do. She couldn't break down the product. She's just chilling. And she kept looking at that red button that she's not supposed to press. And all it took was one tap after listening to some Travis Scott. And she ended right up in the metaverse, right at his concert on Twitch. She was right front row of that joint, straight up, and woke up with a bloody nose and kidnapped by the Serbs. What a day for Liliana, which we'll talk more about her. But
I mean, since you got there, we can clear all of the Tommy and Liliana stuff out right here. Okay, first, that initial conversation with me, it revealed that not only is Tommy starting to care for her, at times of crisis, you tend to lean on people you're most familiar with. She reminds him of New York in the end.
Ooh.
And that's why he leans on her so much.
Ooh.
That's why she's allowed to talk to him in ways no one else there could.
Yeah.
And then later on, in a later scene between them two, when they really get the full understanding of what this relationship / partnership is, we fully see that bloom. We fully see the Tommy that at times people always saw as a flaw. And that was, Tommy's around women, that's his weakness. But here it didn't come across as much as a weakness, as much as him caring about her, because he didn't want to get her involved in a mess that he created. a lot of this is about, as the last episode was, what, storm clouds. A lot of this is about Tommy feeling bad for what he's brought on to other people, and Liliana is the catalyst right now of those feelings. And lastly, we get her deciding, you know what, this shit just looked too good, and I'm gonna get high and then leave the apartment. I don't know what drug this is that they are all trying.
Listen.
But first, you got my man Tommy stretched out on the car, looking like he's getting the best satisfaction humanly possible to him. And then we get Liliana get so damn high, she decides, you know what, fuck this place. I need to go walking somewhere.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, bro. Some drugs and Travis Scott, you end up in the metaverse. This is over from there.
All in Astro World. Yeah. Heart racing and everything.
And my man Travis was not stopping the concert for her ass. He's like, we keep going.
Nope, we keep on going. She gone. She walking away from the stage. We good to go. Now, to backtrack to the big moment when we finally get Vic, Diamond, and Tommy again building the team up together as they decide, as Tommy goes to Diamond for help here, on taking on the Serbs. And this is when we get the deal placement. Diamond wants 51%. Tommy said, I don't got 50% to give. And then he brings in Vic. And then they come together with this deal that they can all work together, get rid of the Serbs so they can take over this portion of the drug trade. Now, this is the most important part of this to me, is what happens in the next scene when Diamond then has to go and recruit Jannard to team with him for this to happen. To me, it showed one thing, and I would say one of the most important things of this partnership. Diamond couldn't do it without Jannard because Jannard is the one who possibly has the soldiers under his control.
Yeah, no doubt.
What do you just think about not only that recruitment, but the other forms of recruitment when we see Vic do the exact same thing, having to recruit help here? What do you think about right here before we get to the big battle of this forming of this partnership between them and them understanding us three can't do it by ourselves?
Listen, the Avengers of the Hood came through. It was going down. But there's a couple of things to make here. I mean, obviously, they want the Sir pipeline because that gets them control of the West. It's 3 people, so 33%, except there's a percent left, which I cannot believe Diamond turned into one of those smart dudes in the hood. He's like, there's 1% left. But the thing that I am very surprised that was not said in this conversation was when Diamond goes back to Jannard and says, we got 34%. And he said, what does that mean? And they said, wealth, I believe. I'm sorry, there's something way more important here that you forgot. Majority owner.
Oh, no. Jannard said that.
Did he?
Yes. He said that 1% is going to carry a lot of weight. Plus, we have the controlling interests.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I might have been writing some notes down, but good.
Jannard clearly pointed that out because he understood what that 1% meant. And Tommy said it, though. When they agreed on that 1%, Tommy said, man, that 1% means a hell of a lot.
Absolutely. And like I said, he had to do what was right. So, I mean, cool. You got Jannard to buy in for sophisticated reasons, but I think Jannard mindset is, look, as long as we're running things, then that's all it is. And by the way, I think what's important here is that when you think about the things being split into 3, you said Tommy got his, and then CBI got theirs. That means y'all two got y'all's, which, yeah, you're saying y'all two. Yeah, Diamond and Jannard, part of the 34%. That's y'all thing. That's not like a Tommy and Diamond got 33%, which could be Jannard's fear of, like, you about to have
this white boy take my place.
You about to have listen, Eminem is about to be the newest signee. He wasn't going. Look, it would have been like, come on, Dre. This guy, like,
you ain't comparing Jannard to the way Snoop felt when Eminem came in. Like, wait a minute, where this white boy come from? Why is he getting all the attention all of a sudden?
Man, that's all I'm saying.
But that's what it felt like. You're just, when you come to do business, and Diamond bringing up a very smart point when he says, you're a numbers man. You know exactly what this means. He understood the way to approach Jannard about the situation, knowing that Jannard was not happy that Vic was involved. He was not happy that Tommy was involved. So Jannard, like, okay, let's go from another angle here. Let's talk about the money that this will bring in. Let's talk about being, again, I don't know what's with these self-righteous drug dealers, but let's talk about how, as Black people, we've never strived so high in the drug game and the heights that we can achieve here. Like, only the Italians have reached this high. Like, we're reaching for this brass ring of destroying our community. Like,
excuse me, I feel like I owe the audience a due diligence here. What name the different people that they were talking about real quick, so I can insert the fourth one that everyone's gonna keep joking with me with. So you said the Irish.
The Irish. He said the Italians.
Uh-huh.
Did he say the Serbs too?
No.
There's
still two more.
It's two more white.
Oh, one more. So there's only one more. Jews.
He did say the Hasidic Jews. Okay.
Yeah. And the fourth one that no one wants to talk about is the Amish. Let's not forget, folks.
There's not an Amish drug dealer in this world. That is not a pure product, sir.
I'm not saying it no more. Y'all gonna leave me alone now. But apparently, I need to say that every episode.
Hey,
so
every episode you got to make up for your faults for saying that.
Exactly. By the way, can we talk about how the barbershop is bringing in money now? I saw the first cut ever tonight, and somebody got
that barbershop has to be a front. It has to be a front. But there is no way Diamond and that joint on Instagram taking on clients left and right.
They got their first customer, bro.
Hey, come to the shop, come get a cut. Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all here. But the next scene is when we finally get Claudia and Tommy coming to terms on their deal for Dahlia. The biggest thing to say here is, again, Tommy coming out on top. A 60-40 split in the drug world is not a good split, especially for a person who's just moving the product. That is an absolutely ridiculous split to give. But again, it's Tommy bringing up the same thing here. You literally have no power. When she said 70-30 my way, and she was like, oh, no, that's not going to work. And Tommy said, good, I'll walk. She knew she had to make the deal because there's no other option. Again, this is just showing in this episode again of Claudia's lack of power, which is highly important in this episode because of what happens later on in this episode with her.
Instead of power, let's say resources.
See, but we say power because that's the name of the show, sir. You're lucky I didn't say lack of force. It's gonna stick with power.
Come on, bro. We're running a clown shop tonight.
hey, look here. We gonna pinpoint it out as much as humanly possible because you know why? I'm not crazy. You know what our audience is gonna say?
What?
Claudia has no power. Look at everything she's doing here.
Of course they do. And also remember, anytime you say influence, Rashad Tate face
exactly
appears on the screen.
exactly here.
Listen, folks, I got some other advice for you. If you go into the bathroom and say Candyman 3 times, Rashad Tate face pulls up. But I can't promise you'll be here for the next week's review.
Okay. But also in this scene, we get Claudia asking Tommy to pull and do her a favor as part of this deal. Part of that favor is him
interception.
Stealing the shipment away. And my man, I do not know his name, but my man made the smartest business decision in the world when he said, hey, I got kids. I am not. This is the second person to bring up their kids before Tommy was going to kill them.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened with the first dude. He's like, no, take the body out the back. You ain't got to worry about nothing else.
What was his name? Keto something. Yeah. But listen. This dude was bare button on the bathroom toilet. Of course, he had nothing to lose. The motherfucker was in a public bathroom on his bare ass. Yeah, he definitely wasn't going out. He was going to cop out any way he could.
Hey, he didn't care one bit. So, but again, this is we see Tommy making the moves properly. As he said, "Hey man, how much you make? Here, I'll pay you more, and I can use someone like you in my organization." Tommy, again, being a perfect recruiter, understanding the situation and understanding, like, if I get someone who can move trucks and can move product, I can not only just move this new drug, I can move a multitude of things through this guy and whatever business he has going on here.
He knows what it is.
Now, next up, I got to talk about it. We ain't got to worry about Liliana. I know that was the next thing to talk about. But we already talked about her and her skateboarding new dream, kick pushing ass down the street as she tries a new drug. But next, we get my guy selling dreams to Gloria. He pulls her out on ocean, baby. This is everything. This is yours. We can make this all work. Our dreams are coming true here. And in the background, we get Paulie spying the entire time on Vic with Gloria. Before we get to the next scene that happens with Paulie, what did you think about this setup of, again, Vic attempting and understanding after this deal, the money that will be coming in, that he immediately decides, I need to make sure Gloria understands how much I love her.
Yeah, that's slightly a part of the comment, man. I mean, Vic don't care about this extra income from the serve stuff unless it benefits him in a way that where he's talking to Simon about how they're going to do all these things, so much more, but he ain't talking about nothing but Gloria. So here's my whole breakdown of all this. First of all, Gloria just all of a sudden back on Vic after Tommy kicked her to the curb, huh? And now she's just like, oh, Vic, we got land and the kids can play there and the sunset steer. I mean, they could have used a better selection of a slow song here. I mean, I wanted something like really poetic. I wanted something like crazy, right? But you know, after the slow music hit, you already knew some BS was coming. I just started, the wolf tickets just started getting pulled out like left and right. But yeah, his whole end game, he went to war with the serfs for Gloria.
Hey, as he said, this way I'm no longer under the old man's thumb. That's the most important thing to Vic. Again, it goes back to that conversation they had in the prior episode when Vic said, and if I keep on following you, I'll just always be the little kid.
Yeah.
And here he sees a way out. Here he sees a way to be with the woman that he loves. But we also hear here a conversation afterwards between Paulie and Walter. All I'm going to ask, and I'm going to let you go in for it. All I'm going to ask, did it also sound to you like Paulie was telling Walter to kill Vic?
No, I think Paulie was speaking about just his what's kind of the word I want to use here. I guess it's just because this is really surreal to Paulie. He lost his son and he feels like you still got an opportunity to make it right with yours. And I don't think he wanted Walter to go do what he did to Gloria, but I think he said like you still have a chance to save your son before this thing called love gets out of hands. He said love is like a tornado, and you know this is a situation where you really aren't going to be able to do anything, Walter. You're going to be in a jam here from a business aspect and as a father. And you know, when he said our kids, I mean, obviously we know what the situation is with
his son.
His son, and I think he's just having a man-to-man conversation where like, this isn't good for you right here of what he's doing. And it isn't, because let's think about this. Vic went to war with the Serbs to get his girlfriend money. That's not even his girlfriend.
Well,
like
it's his girlfriend.
Is it? Because she was just on Tommy.
But remember what Vic said. And then I'll get back to the key thing that Paulie said that made me think that he was saying get rid of Vic. But yeah, when he said, why would I be mad at Gloria while we're on a break? She can do what she wants to do.
Jeez,
so I think that's almost said like we'll be back together. You're just a bump in the road until we're back together.
That's so yeah. I used to hear that stuff in middle school all the time. I think we need a break. That stuff. Whatever, Vic. But yeah, I got you.
But
no
the other thing with Paulie and Walter, when Paulie tells Walter, you know, you have two kids vying for the throne. If one of them is out the way, the other one won't care, and they'll always be loyal to you. Well, that's what I meant by it. Sounded then like he was saying, if you get rid of one of them, the other one will always be loyal to you because technically you'll be the only thing left. And that's what when I heard that, I said, oh, he's almost telling him, like, you got to get rid of one of them. Because as long as they, as he said, as long as they're battling each other and there's no loyalty to you. But if you take out one, the other one will automatically become loyal to you. You're the only thing left. So I read that, and I know it's it may have seemed far-fetched, but you got to understand just how crazy Walter is here. Ain't like we dealing with a sane person.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It could be, but I mean, he's still always going to favor Vic over Claudia. So, like, it could be the advice or suggestion you need to make. But
I think that's why Paulie also brought up Vic being in love. Because at this point, he's basically telling him, dude,
he's compromised.
Yeah, at this point, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Because one thing you can't get in the way of is someone falling for someone and what they're willing to do once it happens.
Yeah.
As we clearly see here. Again, you said it best. He literally went to war with the most dangerous syndicate in crime in their city because his girl needed a house. Like, I don't know how or which other way to put it. And then in the next scene, we get Walter showing up to Gloria, understanding the threat that she is.
Yep.
And then just this whole scene here, what made this scene to me really good and really well acted is just the way they played off of each other. Whether we get Walter's conversation with Gloria understanding Walter's weaknesses during that conversation, and then her understanding, like, in the end, no matter what you say, it's still going to be between me and Vic. What did you think just about that whole interaction with them two? This is the first real dialogue we've gotten with Gloria and Walter.
Very dangerous, I will say. And I didn't think Gloria had it in her, but very dangerous. But you know, who's to say how this plays out the next time? Because I think this is definitely going to be revisited. But I will say this is definitely one check in a box in a win column for Gloria, because she held her own. And Walter can be a very imposing figure. I mean, when he came into the bar, it was a scary scene. And, you know, like you said, I ain't no bag man. So, you know, if I'm coming here, you know, it's about business and whatnot. And not to mention, there is a financial debt in between the two of them, which we did not know. And she said, Walter still owes, I mean, Gloria still owes Walter money, which is not the money that she's paying Vic, because that is the money for protection. So it's just like, just some other shit happening here.
And does Vic know about the other money that she is paying Walter? Because it did not sound like he would have known.
Yeah, so not sure what that is about, but like I said, definitely a dub in the column for Gloria. But I'm definitely seeing this game being tied up the next time, because I don't think he's going to be so I don't think he's going to be so understanding. And I will say we should all now know that Walter is sick. It definitely is cancer, if it wasn't any indication at the end.
The moment he blew in the little tube, that's lung cancer, people.
and yeah, let's call it what it is. He's sick. Who knows how much time he has? He's very much aware of it. He's frustrated, which makes him not only a powerful man, but now an extremely dangerous man, because he literally has nothing to lose now. And well, as Gloria said to Claudia later, he's still stronger than you, and he's sick. Sure, you tried to play Claudia, but also that's also very much not good for you, because now you also are establishing that Walter is a very powerful, now we know dangerous, now we know desperate, and he is definitely coming back for you. So we'll see how that plays out, and I smell a draw coming very, very soon.
Hold up, I want to keep you there for a minute, because I thought that was a hell of a conversation, and there are points in between, but none of them are big or mean as much as this conversation between Gloria and Claudia. The look on Claudia's face when she said, "What do you mean he's sick?" We know for a fact that Walter's been hiding this from them. What do you think happens now that this information has been revealed to Claudia?
Unpopular opinion here. I hated this scene.
Really?
I did, because
it's the classic setup scene to find out information that's not supposed to be known.
Yeah, but I also feel like it just wasn't just important in the context of their conversation. I don't feel like, I mean, and yes, I feel like, you know, Gloria definitely dropped the bomb on her in saying it, but I also feel like it was just kind of out of scope of the conversation. Claudia came in there to protect her brother. That's, I think, is the big thing. I didn't think Claudia would make this on her things to do list to say, now let me give her out. Let me give her a very financial, very lucrative out of all of this. Stay away from my brother. Why does Claudia care if Gloria is a threat to Vic is the biggest thing to me. You are truly establishing your own thing. You probably want to keep Vic occupied because you want him to know what you're doing.
I got a thing for you. And I thought about it, and that's why I said this scene became important. Two things here. The way they were talking, Claudia said, and you're my friend. And Gloria said, you're the worst type of person. What do you think that this situation and her feeling so comfortable that she can go to Gloria about this and try to get to buy her out from her brother has to do with whatever debt her father has on Gloria? Because that's what I picked. I said, oh, maybe it's a little deeper than we know. I mean, it's power. Don't be surprised if a kid comes out of nowhere that no one knows about that Gloria has and is Vic's child, and that's why you at this point, you never know. You can never know what the deal is.
We'll get it soon. That's coming. Especially with this whole tidbit of like your father's sick, like out of the blue. We're definitely going to get something very wild because in the middle of a conversation.
That was just a dagger at Claudia to let her know, like, you know what? You're worse than him, because even sick, you're not as good as he is. Even with him being sick, you're not as good. It could have felt like a throwaway line, but for me, it was like, okay, I like the way they set that up, because you got to be very careful when you reveal, oh, the other person is sick type thing. You need to put it in a context that could actually make some form of sense here. And here it just made sense because Claudia sees herself as the rightful heir to that throne. And for Gloria to say, no, you're much worse because you did all of this and you're still not as powerful as he is, and he's sick. I think it was more of a dagger that we see later on. Even more hurts the form of Claudia attempting to take over. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. Definitely a throwaway. It's not a throwaway line, but there was definitely, I just felt like the tidbit was just kind of like just like out of context for me. But
Okay. Speaking of throwaway moments, we get our only moment with JP this episode, possibly one of my favorite characters of this season, as he's reminiscing about Kate, who he cannot get out his mind, which is weird for the horrible mother we know Kate to be.
I'm sorry, Mama. I never meant to hurt you. Definitely. Wow. Same person. But, also confirmed that Ghost is in Detroit again.
But what we also get here, and the only moment that most people will talk about, and I don't know if it's going to ever play dividends down the road, is that JP finds a picture of himself and he notices Tommy's right there with him. So it makes him wonder, is everything his dad told him a lie? Because if Kate was around with both of them, something ain't right here. That means she didn't just abandon him. Again, that's something that's going to pay dividends down the road. That's why it's a moment, but not an overly big moment to focus on this episode. But definitely is going to be something down the line to talk about.
And I got another little moment that was kind of small, but kind of big as well, too. And that's the cops spying on Walter and what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they like, well, we got away. And they identify Paulie as potentially being the breach. I hate this because I'm such a fan of the Paulie character that I hope they're not about to get my man to turn snitch by using his son.
There you go. You already know where they going with it.
Hate that.
You already know where they going with it.
Terrible, man. Terrible.
Again, I will constantly say it. There are no good cops in power.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them. If you don't think they will do whatever they have to.
Listen, you know what it is. You know exactly what it is. We're going to put his ass in rehab. We will personally get his ass off the street, put him in rehab. Now give us what we want, because what does his dad want most? Get your ass clean. You can have all the money you want. So
we can arrest very predictable. Him and we can make him clean and give him no other option but to be clean. And we'll give you the son that you desperately want back.
Yeah.
But we need information on Walter. And Walter gonna die soon anyway, so you might as well give it to us. Like, see the angle.
Snitch. Liliana ain't going out like that, so nobody else should. Liliana, a real one.
Again, this is a moment that we knew was coming. Liliana, the Serbs, and all hell breaks loose in her finger. As we see her being tortured, and yet and still, she's extremely loyal to Tommy.
Yep.
This loyalty, again, it paid dividends in that scene earlier they had with one another when it's basically saying, I got your back no matter what, because I know you have my back. And here we get the ultimate test of that theory, as they are torturing her every way humanly possible to get information on Tommy, and Liliana is refusing to say anything about it.
Listen, it's all a ploy. She still had her Oculus on. She was still in the metaverse. She didn't feel none of that. She didn't know none of that was happening right now. she didn't wake up till she got shot. So all of this, fuck that loyalty. She just didn't know where she was at. But nah, you're right. You're absolutely right about how this all played out. And she's a real one, 100%. Like, for sure.
Just understand, you my brother. I got love for you. They break my finger, I'm telling everything. Nigga, big old belt is down the street. You will never.
Man. Hey, but look, at the same time, she didn't have to say anything because she gave up the worst possible thing she could ever. Now they know where Tommy lay his head at. That ain't good.
Well, she had no choice. She gave that up when she decided to lollygag outside the apartment high as hell. That was already gone. But right after this key scene, we get the big battle. The big battle to take on the Serbs, and we get the unfortunate casualty first of Simon. Just as they thinking, like, we taking everyone out. Whenever someone says that, they're normally the next person to die.
He said, my man was like, my dick getting hard off of this, and bada boom.
Big pussy all over again. Like, it's just so sad the way he bit the bullet here. But again, as they advance on the Serbs, then we get our second big death, and possibly the biggest death so far of this season. And that is E dying here.
Oh, the real gangster E.
Yeah,
let's not forget that.
Yeah,
Jeremiah out here doing his thing.
I ain't gonna tell you the song that popped in my head. That doom, doom, doom. Oh yeah, that Jeremiah song popped in my head as he got shot.
You already know the memes are coming. They're gonna Bobby hit him with the what's the joint from back in the day when he running down the alley? I can't even think of the day right now.
Oh man.
When the car pull up, we moved the shotgun. My man got shot in a very what the hell? You know what I'm talking about. Forget it. But anyway, his death was so underwhelming, but it was so fitting for Jeremiah. I was like, you know what? He had to go out with grace. He just kind of like, But Jannard was just like, no, and turned up on it. I mean, that was the coke talking, but yeah, nonetheless, he retaliated.
Hey, because those were coke bullets he was firing. If you shoot at somebody that many times after you've already hit them and they fell, you know, you just out your mind. You just don't have or know what to do. Yeah. But here, after we get the big shoot off with the Serbs, the most important thing happens. Tommy finds out the Serbs.
I was about to say, so I could just correct what I was saying. When Jeremiah or E got shot, Jannard came in, was like, Ricky!
Nigga, when you talking about boys in the hood? Wait a minute. The way you described that scene reminded me nothing of boys.
I said he came down like he was running through the alley and got his head shot, and Jannard came in like,
dude,
Ricky!
I don't know how I didn't put two and two together.
It's all good. I got it.
Oh, you ain't telling me E turned around like Morris Chestnut in the jungle when he's like, and ran in a straight line.
straight up, man.
God damn it. But the very next scene, we get the phone call that Tommy receives letting them know that Markovich. Thank you. Has Liliana. And we get here the pivotal moment of Tommy saying, hey, you all, he got her. Let's go. And them basically tell him, like, no, our business is done. We came here. We served a purpose. We did exactly what we said we were going to do. Everything else is on you. Mm-hmm. What did you think about that scene and that setup? Because to me, that is an extremely realistic thing to happen.
Yeah,
we don't always get that in Power.
Yeah, one other thing I will say too is that during the shootout, let's also put in the context that Vic also protected one of the CBI folks. So it wasn't just three different organizations or three different organizations trying to work together, but not together. When the one black dude got shot, Vic pulled him to the side. So, Vic, as I should say every episode, Victor Luther King out here is trying to. I mean, I know Tommy Luther King is out here as well too, but Victor Luther King out here. These white boys are trying to end segregation, man, and then this is the first step forward.
Because you already said Vic Luther King, I was about to call him Tommy Evers. I had to really catch myself there for a minute. Like they are out here trying to end segregation at all costs, Joe.
Yeah. But I mean, like they said, Liliana, the whole thing was an eye for eye. People say, look, we did our due diligence, we're out. But while that just seems like a dismissive thing, it's because I realized that everybody had other immediate plans. Because I think it was one of those situations where we done cashed out. We got what we needed to do. Time to go spend our money. And that's where we kind of see everybody doing their own thing. Diamond goes back to the shop. We see my man Jannard getting ready to get coked up again. Everybody had their own different situation, but Tommy, as I said, he went into the fire by himself because he really do care. I'm going to say it, his little sister Liliana, man, he really do care about her. And he said, I'm going to go to the head serb who only has 6 people because that's how they roll. But that doesn't even make sense. But no problem. We'll just go with that.
We're just not going to question that at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not the top dog having only 6 people, but whatever.
Nigga, the second in command wouldn't only have 6 people.
Yeah, whatever. Don't get it. 666. That's what somebody gonna say.
That ain't even enough for a clip.
You know what it is.
Yeah, 17 bullets in a clip. I'd be goddamn with one gun you could take out my whole crew. That's just not gonna happen.
But yeah, everybody said they didn't sign up for that, and then Tommy was on his own. But I will say, there's maybe 2 things to think about here. What do you think Jannard's thoughts was? Because I know what we seen at the very end, but do you think Jannard for 1 second contemplated in wanting to help Tommy because of Liliana?
No,
not at all.
That first look, he was strictly shooting at Tommy.
No. I get that. Yeah. I'm talking about before then when they were trying to say, "Hey, who's in to help Liliana?" And then they showed Vic. I mean, they showed Jannard. So everybody, I mean, they showed Vic say no. They showed Diamond say no.
Quickly say no.
And then they showed Jannard, and he just kind of was like, and I don't think at that moment he thought about going to follow Tommy because he wanted to shoot him, because he went back to Diamond first. I literally think that when he said we had to do this,
still mourning E at that point. He just was lost in the sauce.
Could I'll go with that as well too, but I definitely think that there was a moment. I thought from that moment, I said maybe he's thinking like, I should go save Liliana. I think he does to some extent got something for this girl, whatever it may be, and it could be that weird fetish shit from last episode.
If also something, that's all he wants to do is touch her scar again.
Hey, listen, my man aspirations are very small right now. He wants to be the leader of CBI. He hate white people and he wants to lick the scar. So, but I think that's the thing in those orders, because he realized that fuck Tommy, so fuck Liliana. So that's what I think. The whole mindset just changed a little bit.
He was shooting wildly at Tommy and missing every which way but loose. It made no sense.
My man Jannard is a chill 0 for 4 tonight in shooting the gun. He is doing bad. He need to hit the range. The Colt bullets are definitely bad. He need to get them shooters on speed down because he just couldn't get it done.
He got one.
Yeah, I guess he got that one.
My man right in the middle when he's like, he got one.
Ricky! Yeah, that's it. That's the person he got. The only person he got. But like you said, Tommy said we stand for our people, and he had to do what he had to do. He went to face the surge by himself, even though his whole house is burned. And I think that's why, if anybody says why did the surge just roll out? Because they know where they could come back to. It's just the whole house is burned.
Where you live?
Yeah, I'll come back.
But not only that, if a car runs down and just shoots bullets, the last thing you do when you only have 6 people to begin with is stay there. You can't stay there. You got to keep it moving. Yeah. Because you can always come back. One thing about Tommy, he's not hiding. Yeah. And because he's not hiding, they probably feel we can always get to you.
Yeah. And that's just it. Jannard, it looks like he had Diamond in his crosshairs, but he said, you know what? I think we're on a good page now. We got something good going on because we got this 34%. But let me go take out Tommy. He did the drive-by. He completely burns the car, burns everything he had on, because I think he hit Tommy, but he didn't.
Yeah,
He hit
he hit
Liliana clean.
Yep.
So yeah, that's going to come about. I think there's
Through
going to
and
be a lot
through
of
at that, which is weird because from that distance, through and through ain't necessarily the most normal thing. I don't know what type of bullets he was shooting with.
Coke bullets. How many times we gotta tell you? The days do weird things. But I think what's going to be important now is that it's going to be a lot of different drive-bys that's going to have to be discussed. JP's shop being shot up. Who's been doing that? Let's figure that all out, you know. And them actually having that between D-Mac and JP, and then Tommy saying Liliana got shot. Somebody attempted to shoot me. They tried to shoot the Serbs. You know, who else is out here? You know, is another threat. So all these conversations are going to come about. And like I said, now that the Serb mini war is over, you know, now everybody's with phase 2 to things, and that's where we get to see, you know, as I said, Jannar initially having Diamond in his crosshairs, going after Tommy, Gloria considering her papers now, and then Walter with cancer. So, but
and with Claudia just losing it and coked out of her mind.
Yeah, let's talk. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. So now that Mai comes back in and her stuff has been intercepted, Claudia's whole demeanor is very chill. She's just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. But then, you know, that's when Mai turns up and basically saying, "Did I make this mistake by getting the wrong Flins? You're worthless. You're worthless to me now." Yeah. And then we're done, and she woman smacked her. I mean, all the Flins got smacked today. Vic
sure did.
Vic and Claudia got the L's on the smack. But yeah, she comes back up in the rear and hits her with the ice pick to the noggin. Now, why this is a kill, folks, and Maya's gone, which helps the whole Tommy and Claudia situation. This is Claudia's first kill.
I'm about to say that's the most important part of it. The shock on her face. Shock.
Yeah, she
shows she got after killing her, she got high. And gotten dead with the body still in her apartment. That just shows you just how in shock she is that she even did it.
Yeah. So
are we finally seeing the cracks here? Do you think that we're going to start seeing cracks in why Walter picked Vic over her?
Maybe. We will see. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but I think this is definitely one we kind of let this play out just a little bit more. But we are starting to see Claudia really show face, either in terms of her weaknesses and or why she may be incapable of being a leader. So we got some things to definitely talk about in terms of what's next for the Flans. Everything is in shambles right now, so we will see. We will see.
Hey man, we're about to close out. We can have you throw into our what did you call it? Our after death after
our after the grave interview. So yes, here we go, folks. So listen, folks. Let us know your thoughts about episode 5, Take Me Home, which was a very, very bloody, very, very intense. Some major deaths this episode. Let us know your thoughts, your favorite moments, your predictions, your reactions to the things that you've seen tonight, the things that we got wrong that you want to just yell at us about, because that's what you all do best, and we know we're going to do it. But that ain't the end of this video, folks, because now we're going to have a special guest. So stay tuned, because we are bringing, as I said in our Power After the Grave interview, the one and only, making his return back, Mr. Simon himself, Phil Donlin. So stay tuned for that interview, because that is coming to you right now. Look, folks, I told you I had something special for you all tonight, and truly we do. I'm here to deliver my promise I had. We're here to deliver the promise that we had. And after this savage yet murderous episode, and we lost some major characters, and from your screen to this show, for our Power Beyond the Grave interview, we bring you one of those characters, and he returns, and I'm so happy to talk to him once again. My guy, Phil Donlin. Rest in peace, Simon. Phil.
Come
on, man.
What's up?
How do you take it in, man? This was a crazy episode tonight, man.
It's a wild one. It is a crazy, crazy wild one. I appreciate you guys having me back on. I'm having a little whiskey to toast.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, exactly.
Cheers to everybody. Exactly.
Ooh,
Thanks for having me back on, guys.
Absolutely, man. This is a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Wow, what an episode. But yeah, folks, Mr. Phil Donlin, Simon, rest in peace and power, but forever in the power universe.
Yes, sir.
The king of the one-liners. Like, first we got to get into just how many one-liners you had in this episode. For one, my favorite one-liner of the episode was, "This is going to be a fucking bloodbath." I thought that should have been the name of the episode.
Interesting.
Just because of the way and everything that happens in this episode, I said, "Oh, yeah, that's the perfect line for this episode. That should be the title of this episode." What did you feel when you first heard or knew that this was going to be the final time the audience would get to see Simon?
Well, I was pretty, as any actor is, when your job is over, it's bittersweet. I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't expecting it. So it was a little kind of came out of nowhere for me. So and I'll say this, when the scripts went out that day, the first call I got was from Shane. The next call I got was Guy Van Swearingen, and on from the cast. And people are like, who the fuck do I got to talk to? You can't fucking kill Simon. I mean, people like, there were cast members that were pissed off that I was getting killed. As a writer as well, I get you got to service the show, but I thought there was more possibility for Simon. I thought there was way more there, and I'm not trying to sound sour about it. I mean, it is what it is, right? But I mean, I definitely felt like there was more there that, was a little bit of a missed opportunity, but that's just me. You never know. Maybe season 2, maybe there's some flashbacks, maybe there's a ghost of Simon. But back to your point about the episode being named Bloodbath, they got the perfect director for episode 5, because Eve is like, he's like my new favorite director. I mean, this dude knows how to, he's going to be like, one day people will be talking about him like a Scorsese.
Wow.
I think, that's my personal opinion, but he's great, and he was tapped specifically for this episode because of the nature of the material. So you saying like the name of the episode should have been Bloodbath. I mean, that's really a credit to Eve.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's a real cinema guy. He knows movies. We were talking a ton about. We bonded over Carlito's Way.
Oh man,
and that's what I mean. Like, not to nerd out too much, because I know you guys got your own questions, but Brian De Palma, who directed that, Scarface, stuff like Eve kind of comes from that kind of cloth. You know what I mean? And so that Scarface, Carlito, that whole feel, that's in this episode.
Yeah,
it's in this episode for sure, as far as I'm concerned, as a film lover. But anyway,
yeah. Phil, man, simple question. This was like, as I said, it was a savage yet murderous episode. What's your reaction and thoughts? You did the work, but now you're seeing it on the screen. Like, what was the thoughts going across your head seeing this happen?
I was very proud of this episode, and I credit a lot to Eve as well. He really, when Eve and I got together, he also agreed. He's like, man, your character shouldn't be dying. Like, he really was. He didn't get it either as the director. He's like, I just don't understand why they would get rid of you. But so he's like, I want people to remember Simon, and I'm going to give him the proper send off. So I watched this episode, and I'm nothing but happy. I mean, you to me, you can't get any better of a send off. Like you said, I got some one-liners in there. I got my line that I wrote in there that I was very happy with. So in the original script, it says something like, I'm trying to remember what it said, but it was like, so, you know, everyone's dead. And my character says something like, that was a piece of cake. And I was like, so I talked to Eve and I'm like, well, what? I'm not like some like, you know, like suburban white mom from the suburbs. Like, that's a piece of cake. I'm like,
that was a dandy.
I'm like, what's with this line? It's a piece of cake. You know, that's like something my mom said, my grandmother said. So I'm like, I was thinking about it and I was like, what? And I came up with that line. I'm like, I was like, and I didn't tell Eve what it was going to be. I'm like, I got it. He's like, say whatever you want. Do whatever you want. So that's what I said. I said the line. That shit made my dick hard because I'm like, that's something Simon
would definitely.
And I did that in every take. And then there was one take where the script supervisor came over to me and she goes, we owe one to like the network. Can you say it the way it's written? And I was like, dang. Because your fear as an actor is when you give them one take of anything you don't want to do, that's what they're going to use. Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, I was so happy when I saw it and they used my line. Thank you, everyone who was involved in saying, yeah, keep that line and don't use a piece of cake.
Hey, look,
that was a dandy.
Yeah, exactly. That is one of the.
Oh, we killed all the whippersnappers. I mean, exactly. What is with these lines? I'm going, no. So I'm very happy, proud of the send-off, proud of that the entire episode to be involved in such an iconic. I think it's going to be an iconic episode that's going to live on. You know, so I'm very happy to be a part of it. Yeah.
Lucas said it in our review before this is that, you know, we agree that this may be the best episode of Power, period. Because it combines a lot of elements and it's servicing to all Power fans. Ones who's just looking for bullets flying, the one who's looking for some major deaths, the one who's looking for some heart within the characters, a Tommy unlike we've ever seen. It literally does it all. And you bring up a good point. I think it's a very a good standalone episode as well too. If you were to just jump into Power for whatever week and you wanted to watch this, you'd be like, whoa, what is going on right now? But yet you're going to be intrigued both ways.
Yeah,
I want to see the previous episodes. I want to see what's next. It's a fantastic episode, and I do have to say, just because it needs to be said, you also do, although you know Simon died, just letting you know that Phil absolutely got an invite to the cookout. You heard it here.
Exactly. It's bad you had to bite the bullet just as you got the invite to the cookout, but it is still a standing invitation.
That's right.
I got it all, man. I got it all. I got the main course and I got like 10 sides. I got everything. I'm like, you know what? I'll have a little more of that potato salad.
My guy.
Exactly. I will, you know, to your point, to me it feels Godfather-esque. The episode, you know, it's like really, it's got a lot of gravitas to it. You know, it's a heavy one. Yeah, it's a heavy one. So,
now, speaking of it being heavy, what I loved a lot about this episode is the scene between Simon and Vic when they build that partnership. Because at that point, that's when I'm like, oh, great, we're going to get even more of Simon. Because once this partnership is built and the trust they have between one another, like that could go on forever. Again, that was my thought before we get to the end of the episode. What did you think when you were shooting that scene and just that setup and just to see that camaraderie between them two at that moment?
You know, well, I was happy because, you know, Shane and I had developed a very special bond during the shooting of the show. You have to remember we were there for, I'm going to tell you guys something interesting in a second, but we were there for like 7-8 months in Chicago shooting that whole series. Now, in between shooting that scene with Shane and me dying, there was a 1.5 month period between because we got shut down for COVID. And then we reopened and they had to get certain episodes and they had to get Eve back. There was a lot that was going on. So there was a time that had passed between between that, and in general, the first season took a long time to shoot just because we were coming out of COVID, not for any other reason other than that. And one of the upshots to that was that we got to really know each other. And so Shane and I had this really special bond, and we hung all the time, and we would cook together, and we got to know each other. So when we had that, we always talked like we need that scene.
Yeah.
Or more scenes, like we need that time together on screen because we have it off screen. So by the time we did that, I mean, we were like 3 months in. So we really knew each other well. So that, to me, that's a really nice scene because it's reflective of our relationship off screen. So it's comfortable. It's not like when you're like that pilot. Nobody knew. I mean, I knew Joe, of course. He's like one of my best friends. But like everybody on this, everyone doesn't know each other. Nervous. Am I doing a good job? Am I not? You got all this stuff in your head.
Yeah.
And as an actor, as a series goes and as the episodes go, you get to know people, you get comfortable, the cameraman, the makeup artist, everyone's like a family. So you start to get loose and you start to be able to do more interesting work. So I was very happy with that scene. We finally got it. I felt like we were owed it. We got that moment. And I'm very proud of that scene. I really, really, really love it a lot. So.
As you should. So obviously, because you're my guy, and I take a look at the your social medias and whatnot.
Yeah, update me because I get it all from you guys, by the way. I do. No, I do. I've talked in other interviews, and I was like, well, I was, in my last interview, I was told I was the most hated in the, so you guys keep me updated. So.
Yeah, I mean, we got to keep our ears to the streets, and I'm feeling like there may be a little bit of changing of the needle a little bit here. I think there is going to be a demand and a more of a desire for had to have one more Simon. I mean, me personally, the first thing I thought about is we see Vic stepping out on his own. We see he is really putting all his coins in line for Gloria and what seems to be his end game. But if he had his boy right next to him, how does that keep him level in some of these actions that he's making? I mean, we already see Paulie is spying and whatnot, but what would it be like if he had his guy right next to him in order to level him? I mean, because he's really stepping out of pocket. I mean, he's stepping to his dad, and he went to war with the Serbs. To buy land for his girl.
Absolutely. 1000%.
So let's fantasy book just a little bit here.
Yeah, for sure.
Simon's still along, makes it through the night, through the bloodbath of a night. But he realizes that Vic is in the end game now. He the money's gonna come in. You two will be 33%, and that's another thing. Remember who was invited here. It wasn't Claudia. Obviously, Walter didn't know, but you knew. So that entitled you, much like how Diamond and Jannard is, that you're picking up 33% of some funds here, sir. So, you're part of the plan here. But where would you have seen this going if Simon would have made it through the night?
As the writer, I thought one of the missed opportunities maybe was that Simon's the dude who the cops pressed to flip.
Instead of Paulie.
So they catch Simon. I mean, because look, Simon is not Simon's not the smartest guy.
Right.
So what I feel like could have been cool is they catch Simon. He's he's on the take, he's doing a thing. And and they're literally like, you're going away for it. It's like, what's his name in Sopranos? Big Pussy.
Big Pussy. Wow.
Right? So I was like, man, they should have gone Big Pussy route. Like, and you never would have thought if they. So for me, and there was stuff that was cut out of the pilot. In by the way, I'll say in the last scene, in the last scene of the pilot where you have. I mean, I think I can say all this stuff. I don't know why I can't. I mean, the show's already aired. But in the pilot, that last scene between Joe and Tommy, and then in the background you see Shane and I kind of walking up. So there was a lot that was written and shot at the end that wasn't aired, including Claudia walking into the scene. And there was sort of this whole thing where I kind of out Vic in the scene at the end where I say he's doing stuff with CBI.
Oh.
And I make some really racist comments, but it's in line with how
Walter,
Walter Flynn feels.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of out Vic, and I'm really with the thing about Simon that they had sort of developed that's not a part of the no battery alert, but that didn't make it in was that Simon was really like, he's old school like Walter Flynn. So that was the character that I was playing. He's for the family. He doesn't want things to change. He's old school. And in fact, if there's ever like a cut of the pilot that makes it, of everything, I say some racist stuff at the end, and Joe grabs Vic's gun and he pistol whips me in the end scene, and I go down. And that's part of the reason why I've got stuff on my face in later episodes. But this never aired. And they've got time that they got to cut to and all that. But a lot of this stuff never made it to screen, right? But that's all stuff that I had as the actor. So anyway, to fantasy with you, what I was thinking was then that, so if you really played Simon up that way, like family, he's into the family, he doesn't want things to change, he's a super racist dude who just wants things the old school way. And then eventually he's the dude who flips. He's the, so you play him like he's the last guy that would ever do that, but then he flips on the family. So that's my fantasy on it. And I always felt like that would have been really interesting. And people would have been like, damn, and flipping on his boy, Vic, flipping on the family, Walter, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And to me, it would have been way more interesting to have Walter kill me or Vic kill me. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought like that. So
Vic would have been.
That's where I'm going with that.
The ultimate big pussy moment.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. and just to let you know, I literally brought it up during our review. I said, "Oh, big pussy." The moment you were killed on screen.
Really? You said, oh man. By the way, I'm gonna send you guys some Simon McDougal shirts because that's
there we go.
There
we go. Hook us up, brother. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna get you guys some shirts. You need them.
I love how you're merchandising and like, again, as I said the first time we talked, whether you live the entire season or whether as episode 5 was your exit, you'll always be part of the Power universe. And man, I tell you, I want to invite to the Power screening parties, man. It look like I have some fun kicking back when everybody's over, man. Some good whiskey.
Absolutely.
We'll bring some trouble as well.
Of course. Now, where are you guys at? Where in the world are you guys?
We're on the East Coast in Washington, D.C.
Okay, cool.
But we some traveling dudes,
Absolutely.
So I know for one of my final things I really wanted to bring up is just at the end of the day, as I say, you are fully immersed in the Power universe. And overall, from new friendships you made and the new opportunities that is to come, whether you could talk about it or not, just ultimately now that you've seen the episode and things are really real now, how are you feeling and how optimistic are you feeling about other future things now? Because you got to know the phone's getting ready to start ringing. We know this game.
Yeah. I'm always optimistic. I wouldn't be in the game this long if I wasn't. I was talking to Joe recently about this. He was in town for the Super Bowl, and I'm just happy for Joe because he's my guy, and we've been at this a long time. So, yes, I'm excited for the phone to ring and all of that, but my joy comes out of just seeing Joe be successful, because we kicked around for a long, long time, and to be able to, no matter what I say about us fantasizing what could have happened with my character and all of the, maybe the show should have been called, Tommy and Simon. I'm joking, but but every actor's like, if you talk to an actor who's like a one-line waiter in this thing, and you're like, "What's the movie about?" And they're like, "Well, this waiter. It's about this waiter." So, but no matter any of that stuff, yeah, I'm super hyped. I've definitely got some things in the hopper, but I'm most just happy. I'm happy to have been along on this ride with Joe as my friend. It was a very special time that I wish could have gone longer, but you never know. There's a season 2, and writers can write.
That's right.
Whatever. So if they want me back, if the fans want me back, make some noise, and maybe we got a season 2. I will say this: Shane and I have joked that we should get a spin-off called like Vic and Cy take Los Angeles or take Washington DC or take whatever. And the show is simply him and I looking for Tommy, but we get sidetracked by cooking.
Wow.
So we're like, let's look for Tommy, but you know what? Let's cook dinner first. Let's have some wine.
Well, we'll give you the perfect pitch for season 2 here.
Absolutely.
Ghost Simon comes back and haunts Vic for Vic teaming up with CBI and Tommy in the first place.
I love it.
We just get that for the whole season of just
it.
him constantly being over his shoulder. Like, man, you should have done that. You should have done that.
No,
my dick got hard and then I got killed. Like,
Oh, I love it. It's like Christmas Carol. It's like Scrooge or whatever. I'm just like the ghost that come in the room. I'm there. Yeah. No, I'm down. I'm getting you a job on the writing staff.
Hey, we're ready. We're ready.
I'm really gonna miss the banter between Simon and Tommy, man. This some of the best. I feel like as the fans, and I can obviously speak to this, is that we were cheated of that. We needed a lot more consistently. They were so, and again, even the first episode that really set the table for the entire season.
Right.
We wanted a lot of that, and it was some of the best, most memorable moments. And you went out with the classic, man. Shit made my dick hard. Woo!
Hey, one of the best lines ever.
I can't tell you how happy when I saw that episode tonight. I said to myself, I can't, that was my only fear, was that my character was gonna die with saying that he, whatever the cake line was. I went, okay.
But it was stupendous that you all murdered all of those people.
Yeah. So. And because my feeling was if on the front end with the Tom Brady stuff, all those sort of iconic, which have become, I won't use the word iconic, but they've become well known since the pilot. People have, Joe and I were at a hotel playing pool when he was in town.
Oh boy! And
then it was obviously Joe gets recognized left and right, and he goes, "Hey, look who I'm with," and the guy's like, "Oh shit, Tom Brady!" He did the line right. So I felt like Simon did have to go out on yet another,
had to
line. So thanks for recognizing that.
Yeah, and good call. Good call for cleaning that out, because man, I would have been disappointed. Like, whoa, this guy that was snorting coke went out like he was a grandma drinking some Diet Coke. Man, that's a dandy. I got shot out here. Exactly. Oh shucks.
Yeah, exactly. Oh shucks. Well, that was yeah. Oh shucks, and then boom, I'm dead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, whether we're seeing you on the screen, we're absolutely always going to have a seat open for you here at Big Gold Belt Media. You are one of my favorite guys, and until we can share a toast of whiskey in person, we'll make sure we, keep in touch as much as we can, and keep Simon alive. And by the way, you said iconic, but there's also another good term for what Simon did, and that's viral, because every moment that he made, memes were going out.
That's very true. And I do want to say, and because I'm really very grateful to you guys and to the entire fan base who've welcomed Simon and talked so much about him and paid so much attention to him. It means a lot. And I am happy to come on the show anytime you want at all. on any future episodes, even if I'm not in them, of course.
Oh yeah,
to talk, man, and to
Oh,
rap. So you know, you just let me know. You let me know.
We will take you up on
Definitely.
that.
And I'm gonna get you guys some shirts. So we'll after this interview, I'll get your info and I'm gonna get some shirts set out. So
Right on, my God. Hey, but look, folks, I told you we had something special for you all, and I hope you enjoyed it. You make sure that you keep eyes on Phil's social media, because we all know how the power game works. Just because you're down power, your career ain't over. Things only go up here from here, and I can't wait to see more of you on the screen. But folks, this is a crazy episode. This is an amazing night of all things power. We thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you around next week for another Power Recap Review show.
Thanks, guys.